Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial. For the first week of June, we're going to be talking about each of the Iowa-class battleships on each of their days. 6-1 goes with battleship number 61, USS Iowa, and so on and so forth. Today is June 2nd, 6-2, so we're going to be talking about battleship number 62, USS New Jersey. Behind me, you can see the city of Philadelphia, where New Jersey was built, right here on the Delaware River, across from where she's sitting today. New Jersey, along with Iowa, were laid down in 1940. They were launched in 1942, New Jersey on December 7th, the one-year anniversary of the attack on Pearl Harbor, and she was commissioned May 23rd, 1943. New Jersey was built side by side with her sister ship Wisconsin, and when she was completed, the new battleship Illinois was started in the same slipway where she was finished. New Jersey first went into the North Atlantic to train and to keep an eye out for the German battleship Tirpitz. When Tirpitz was neutralized by British X-craft, midget submarines, New Jersey was transitioned into the Pacific Ocean, where she would earn 9 battle stars during World War II. She served first as Admiral Raymond Spruance's flagship of 5th Fleet, and that was the role she was in during the attack on Truk Lagoon, the only time Iowa-class battleships fired their guns on enemy warships. And then she became Admiral William F. Halsey's flagship of 3rd Fleet during the Battle of Leyte Gulf, by some measures the largest naval battle ever fought. Following that, she became Admiral Spruance's flagship again for the occupation of Japan, and then was decommissioned shortly after the war. She was recommissioned in 1950 for the Korean War and did 2 tours of duty off that coast. She served as a training ship afterwards, and then was decommissioned. In 1967, after about 10 years in mothballs at the Philadelphia Navy Yard, she was selected to be recommissioned for the Vietnam War because she was in the best material condition. New Jersey was the only Iowa built near their home state by a workforce from their home state. And so her material condition is consistently higher than the other ships in the class. She's consistently brought back before any of the other ones, or if only one is chosen, it's going to be New Jersey. For that reason, she has more battle stars than any of the other Iowas. New Jersey did a single tour off the coast of Vietnam, and was decommissioned at Bremerton right next to Missouri. She sat there until 1982, when she was selected to be reactivated as part of Reagan's 600-ship Navy. She was again in the best material condition and was selected first. She was recommissioned at Long Beach, December in 1982, by President Ronald Reagan, making her the only American battleship to ever be commissioned by a sitting president. She served off the coast of Beirut during the Lebanese Civil War, and then she served as the centerpiece of Battle Group Romeo, a Navy surface action group built around Battleship New Jersey. She served primarily in the Pacific and in the Persian Gulf, and then she was decommissioned in 1991. During her career, New Jersey served as the flagship of 2nd Fleet, 3rd Fleet, 5th Fleet, and 7th Fleet at various time periods. Because of her historical significance, she was selected, along with Missouri, to be decommissioned, stricken from the Navy Register, and turned into museums in 1999. In 2001, after towing the ship through the Panama Canal and preparing her to be a museum, she was opened here in Camden, New Jersey. Camden was selected for its shipbuilding background. During World War II, New York Ship was actually located in Camden, New Jersey. New York Ship built the battleship South Dakota Also, it's right across the river from the Philadelphia Navy Yard, and about half of the workforce for the Philadelphia Navy Yard actually lived across the river in New Jersey and took the ferry to Philly. Because of that naval background and the proximity to Philadelphia, a major tourist attraction, Camden was selected as the home of Battleship New Jersey. New Jersey differs from her sister ships in a number of ways. The first differences started in 1943 when the open bridge, traditional to American battleships, was encased in a round bridge. New Jersey was the only Iowa to receive this round bridge, and that's the configuration she had throughout most of World War II. At the extreme end of the war, she went into the yard for a maintenance period, and they installed the squared-off bridge that she now has, which Wisconsin and Missouri were built with from the beginning. In addition to the bridge, she received a tremendous number of modifications during the Vietnam War. Primary of which, at the top of the superstructure there, are these big squared out sides, which is where the electronics countermeasures were added. This structure was retained in the 1980s, but the other three Iowas received a more modern, angled electronic countermeasure housing up there. So New Jersey is always really distinguished from her sister ships from Vietnam War. Because New Jersey was the first reactivated, often her reactivation was done as austerely as possible in order to make it easier to reactivate more ships down the line. And so she retained a number of World War II features when she was reactivated for Vietnam in the 1980s, such as a number of her 40mm gun tomes remained visible throughout those commissions, whereas other ships had them completely removed and decked over. New Jersey holds the record for being the fastest battleship ever built. She topped 35 knots after she recommissioned for the Vietnam War. I believe part of this is because she was the lightest of the Iowas as built. She didn't have the extra armored conning tower level that Iowa had, and she didn't have the extra armored bulkheads as Missouri and Wisconsin. So she was a little bit lighter to begin with, and according to Navy records, slightly longer and slightly narrower than the others, depending on which numbers you're looking at. So this, combined with her Vietnam commission, when her crew was smaller and a lot of the extra World War II top weight, namely the anti-aircraft guns and things like that, had been removed, and none of the 1980s missiles had been added, she went to that commission much lighter than any of the other ships. So she gets out of dry dock for that, her hull is completely smooth, and she's already set up for success, and so she attains the Guinness World Record for being the fastest battleship ever built. We are trying to continue New Jersey's tradition of being in the best material condition of any of the Iowa-class battleships. We probably receive more support from our state than any of the other Iowas because we're the only one in our home state. We're also the only one sitting in fresh water. Fresh water is much better for the preservation of steel than salt water. That said, while freshwater is better for the steel, particularly the underwater hull body, it's much worse for wood. So our teak deck, which would be much better preserved if it was being hit with salt water, is in much worse condition than the other Iowas. We had more service, with 22 years active compared to any of the other Iowas. So we saw harder use. And we didn't have our deck replaced in the 1980s like some of them did. The museum is currently replacing our teak wood deck. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you have any comments or questions, drop them down below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to get more information about content we're putting out. And if you like the content we're putting out and want to support the museum, check the description down below for ways you can donate. Happy Iowa Week.